Okay guys, so story time on how I let my boyfriend stay the night at my best friend's house, and it did in fact backfire. So we're currently, me and my boyfriend are doing long distance right now because we met at school, and we're about 2 hours apart, and I guess it's like medium distance, but we've only been dating for about 2 months. Also, disclosure, I'm gonna stop the videos a lot because I don't want to like stutter and I don't really know how to explain it yet. So my boyfriend came up for the day to like see me and whatever, and he was gonna go back home, but it got really late and he didn't want to drive home super late. So we like asked my family if he could stay like at my house, but my parents are super strict and they didn't want like him staying the night at our house, especially since we haven't been dating super long. So my best friend, like, you know, I was telling her like the situation, and she suggested that he should stay the night at her house. Okay, so then I was like, yes, like that's a perfect idea. Her mom was okay with it, and like me and her, she's my childhood best friend, like best friends for like a long time, like over 10 years. And I told him about the idea and he was like all for it, like yes. So this is where the fun part comes in, because let me just tell you, it got weird. So at first, like, I thought everything was normal and like it was fine, and then we were all in the car together. It was when I posted the video about it. And after that video, he was like, wait, since like I'm staying the night at her house, like shouldn't I have her phone number so that way she can like send me the address and stuff? And she literally gave him her phone number. Like, I was sitting in the middle of them and they were just like chit-chatting like over me and like exchanging socials, which I thought was really weird. So then the night ended, whatever, they go back to her house, and they both stopped responding to me, like Snapchat, messages, calls, like whatever. Like, me and him call every night. I did not get a call. I did not get a text. I got nothing from either of them. I did not sleep at all. I slept so bad. And then the next morning, which would have been like this morning, literally this morning, we went to go get breakfast because like before he left or whatever. Oh, excuse me. And the whole like time that we were at breakfast, it was just weird. Like all of it was so weird. And I was like, okay, what is going on? So then we're sitting at the table and like he's swearing that everything is fine, like everything's normal. And then I see a notification, like a message from her pop up like on his phone. And so I asked him what it was. I was like, what is that? He did not want to tell me. He was like really weird, but I was like, oh, it's nothing. Like she was probably just like asking about you or something. I was like, okay. So I grabbed his phone and the text said that she had a great time last night. And I still, like, we've kind of been arguing about it all day, but like I still don't have like full details. So I'm gonna have to make a part 2, unfortunately, whenever I have all the details of like what happened, if y'all want to know. But basically, yeah, so today's been rough.
Here's a story time of how a paramedic made me cry at work while I was serving her in front of the whole pay line of customers. This incident is probably the worst thing that's happened to me at a retail job to date. Like, it was so unnecessary and awful, and also because she was a paramedic, it's just like, what? I was working at one of my retail jobs, my way busier retail job, and I was on pay, and it was a Saturday, so it was quite busy. So it was me and another girl on pay, but she was like a few registers down from me. And we're just like serving, whatever, it's fine, like it's just like a normal day. Pay's my favorite place to be. Like, I love serving people, it's the best. The line was like long, it was like all happening. So there were 2 paramedics waiting in the line. The reason I know they were paramedics is because they were in can't talk. They were in uniform. So it was 2 of them. My co-worker goes to serve one of them, and then the other one comes to me. My register was further away from the line. So my co-worker started serving the first paramedic, and the second paramedic that I was about to serve was walking to me. And I had this like pimple on my face that had scabbed over, and I like kind of turned away and just like picked it off because it was like gross and annoying me. It was like half falling off, like gross. Like, I know, but wouldn't you rather me like do that and like get it off? And she wasn't like even near me. And she comes up to me, and like the first thing she says, she's like, stop picking your skin, it's not like good for it, so loudly. Like, my co-worker asked me afterwards, she thought that I knew her because of how she was speaking to me. And first off, like, obviously that's just so embarrassing, like you don't want someone pointing that out, but it gets so much worse. So I was like, oh haha, like yeah. And then I think she just like kind of like rabbited on about it a bit, like, oh, like don't pick your skin, whatever. Then like I'm serving her, I'm kind of making conversation, not really like too much, and I can see her just analyzing my face. She's just like, every time I'm looking at her, like she's really like deeply staring into my face. Like, it was just weird. And then I had finished serving like my paramedic before my co-worker had finished serving her. So my paramedic went and stood at my co-worker's register, and she was still like staring at my face, and I was kind of like, what's going on? Like, it just made me feel really uncomfortable. And you guys would know that I'm quite insecure about my red nose. Like, I talk about it a lot. I get a lot of comments on it. Like, it's an insecurity of mine, okay? So the paramedics in their little duo had to walk past me to leave. So to walk past me, and I don't think I had a new customer yet, maybe I did, or maybe I'd finished serving a customer after her, so I was kind of in limbo. Like, no one was in front of me. But still, there was so many people in the pay line. Like, it was super busy. As they're walking past me to leave, she goes to me in front of everyone. She goes, and this right here, this could be a gut issue, so I would really go and get that checked out. And I was like so shocked. It was so loud. Like, my coworker looked at me. Everyone was kind of like, what? I was so embarrassed. Like, and I didn't have makeup on. And obviously, like, it's just like, I didn't ask for your advice, and I was just like, oh yeah, like, I've got a doctor's appointment booked in because I did. And then she was like, like, that'll be $80. Like, she'd done me a service, like, she'd given me, like, and then walked away. And I had to keep serving because I was like, it was so busy. But like, once I could take a break, I just like ran out the back. I feel like when I say that story, like, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me, like, when I repeat it, but there's just like so many layers to that. It's like, you don't know what I've got going on. There's like, I had 2 doctor's appointments booked in. I had a GP appointment to talk about gut issues, and I had a dermatologist appointment to talk about my skin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I actually already had that covered, which is just like why it's even more annoying, because it's like, thanks for pointing out what I already knew, and then just like, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. And I also just think it's crazy because she was a paramedic. Like, do you not have any sensitivity training? Like, you don't just get to go around and being like, you need to fix this, this is like, whew. And I also just think to do that in front of so many people so loudly, it's just like, you don't even care about like helping me, because if you did care about helping me, you would have pulled me aside quietly and been like, hey, I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything, but I just like, you may like already like be doing something about it, but I just think that like the redness around your nose like could be a gut issue, and like I think you should get it checked out. I'm just trying to help you out. Like, that's what you would have done. You wouldn't have done it in this like a power trip way where you just think you're better than me and you have all this medical knowledge. And it makes me want to wear makeup everywhere because it's like, people are noticing it. Anyway, moral of the story is, you never know what someone's going through, so just be kind, show a little empathy.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a story time. I need people's opinion on this shit because I genuinely don't know what the fuck to do with my life anymore. Okay, so I was in a friend group with 5 girls, right? And this story's so fucking stupid, it got me itching. Okay, so it was like the week before school ended, and a bitch is going through things. And so with being depressed comes with having an attitude, or at least for me, having an attitude with everyone. So obviously I had like an attitude like with the whole friend group, but like if they opened their fucking eyes, they would notice I gave attitude to everyone around us. But no, they're too self-involved. Okay, so then my stepdad was coming into town and he was staying in my house. And long story short, I can't be around him. That's all I'm gonna say. And they knew about this, so I texted one of my friends. I'm like, hey, can I go over, blah, blah, blah. My stepdad's coming into town. And was like, I told her everything, like, you know, I can't be home with him. And like, can I come, right? She says, no, I'm busy today. And I'm gonna be busy that day too. And I'm like, baby, every time I go over, all you're doing is sitting on your couch doing nothing. What the fuck you mean you're busy? Okay, so it's whatever. I text another friend because I have to go somewhere, like, so, but she's not a part of the friend group. I text her, she says yes, whatever. So then later that night, it's like 11, and I see this bitch post up with 2 other girls in our friend group, and they're swimming in her house. I thought you were busy, bitch. Obviously that pissed me the fuck off. Literally, who would it not piss off? Okay, so the day comes and I'm with my friend, hanging out with her, because obviously I have to, and we decide to go to the mall. So we're walking in the mall, like, peeping all the fine shits, and I see this bitch and the entire fucking friend group, plus a little more, walk into the mall. Oh, you got me fucked up. Like, are you fucking dead ass? You said you were gonna be busy that day. Why are you at the fucking mall with the entire friend group but me, bitch? So then we get home, me and my friend, and I checked my following. It went down. So when one person unfollowed me, I check my who and everyone I follow, see who unfollowed me. The bitch that told me she was busy unfollowed me. Oh, you motherfucker. Ooh, baby, I was pissed. I texted her, why the fuck did you unfollow me? You weird as fuck. Because that's weird as fuck. And she goes, because you ignored me at the mall. I'm like, what? You ignored me at the mall. I waved at you and you ignored me. First of all, bitch, I didn't see that. Second of all, and if I did, why the fuck would I talk and wave at a bitch who claimed they were busy and they're at the mall? Like, are you for real? Be dead ass right now. So then she starts going off, and all I'm hearing is this. Because then we start arguing through voice message. This. Just. Like, shut the fuck up. Okay, so I text my other friend who has known that they have been leaving me out. Because I forgot to mention this, but the last week of school when I was having attitude with them because I was fucking mentally depressed, they were also leaving me out. Like, really bad. And that's part of why I was walking alone in the hallways. And that shit fucked with me more, so I gave him more attitude. But anyway, so she knew, so I texted her about it, and she goes, oh, someone had told me that they said that you've been acting weird. I'm like, I had to get up and shit, holy. Okay, so I text her, like, as we're arguing, I'm like, why the fuck you're telling people that I'm weird? And they're like, because you've been giving us attitude. And I'm like, if you opened your eyes and looked at the world around you, you would notice I did it to every single person who talked to me. Every single person. And then she started yapping her ass off. She was like, well, I don't know why you're giving us attitude. We're the only people that still talk to you. And I told her, I was like, that's embarrassing if you think you guys are the only people I talk to. And she's like, because we are. And I'm like, baby, no, you're not. You are not. But yeah, anyways, like, I tell her, like, I'm, like, depressed. Like, baby, like, I give her reasons, too. I'm like, bitch, you should know. You go through my repost, and I know you do. Second of all, I literally complain every single day that I do not have a car, that my family is struggling financially, and you ignore it. Like, are you for real? And then she just keeps going off, saying a bunch of shit, and I'm like, whatever. And then I just had to be the bigger person. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, like, I like, whatever, like, I love you, or whatever the fuck. I apologize, basically. She leaves me open. And then she's still with, like, everyone else in the friend group while we're texting. And then, so everyone else in the friend group unfollows me too. And I'm like, what the fuck? When did y'all get involved in this shit? Who the fuck even are you guys? And then the next, like, few days, and, like, the next, like, day or two in school, they, like, they're staring me down. Staring me down. And mind you, I didn't say anything bad about them after we stopped being friends. Them, on the other hand, ooh, baby, when I tell you, they went to a party that I was invited to, but I didn't get to go because the girl that I was going to go with, her parents went to Mexico. I couldn't go, right? So one of the girls from the friend group, another girl, the one, she's, like, super, super close with the girl that I got into argument with. Anyways, so basically, she texted me, she's like, hey, like, why didn't you go to the party? And I told her, like, why? And she was like, compa, like, I miss you. Like, I'm like, bitch, you were one of the first ones to switch up on me after that shit happened. What the fuck do you mean you miss me? The fuck? And then they post on her story, after the party, 3 girls were hanging out from the friend group. It was the girl that I got into argument with, the girl that I was texting with, and another girl from the friend group. And she texts me, she's like, blank is acting weird, which is the girl that I got into an argument with. And I'm like, baby, you're with her. She goes, no, she's asleep. I check her location. She turned it off. I'm like, bitch, she just turned off her location. Like, I'm not fucking dumb. Her ass is not sleeping. And she says, she's like, stalker away. And I'm like, I'm not a stalker. I'm just not dumb. And they just, again, start going off. And then they start sending me stickers of me on Snapchat. Baby. And I couldn't tell them this because she blocked me. But, baby, that's so embarrassing that you think that I'm embarrassed of pictures of me. Like, baby, no. She even put out pictures from 5th grade. Bitch, from 5th grade. If you think I'm embarrassed of the way I looked in 5th grade, baby, look how you look now. I don't want to hear it. So, yeah, anyways, after, like, I literally haven't said anything bad about them, like, in that point, they literally just made the situation 10 times worse by texting me all of that. And it's like, what's the point? Like, I haven't done anything to you guys. They just claim that we're ops because I was giving them attitude. But, like, I had a reason and I told them I apologized. Like, I've told everyone this story. And, like, my friends have been telling me, they're like, oh, no, they're in the wrong. Like, you're right. Like, that's weird. Like, I need to know. Is it weird? And what do I do? Do I tell him off? Like, in the hallways and shit? Like, God, what do I do?
She's the epitome of, I don't know, it wasn't me. She kept up her lies on the stand for 8 days, was like, oh, my in-laws are dead because of a meal that I fed them. I don't know, must have been someone else. The mushroom murders, I wanted to wait until there was a verdict reached on this case. Now let's talk about it. Erin Patterson was born and raised in Glen Waverley in Australia. She was one of 2 children to her parents, and Erin was described as a happy, normal little girl, although we later find out from Erin herself that for as long as she could remember, she always struggled with self-esteem issues. Erin went to university. She graduated, I think. She also worked as an air traffic controller for some time, but then ended up working for an organization that worked with animals. It was in 2004 when she met Simon Patterson, and he caught her eye immediately. They fell in love, started dating, and 3 years later they got married. After the wedding, both Erin and Simon quit their jobs to go travel the world, which is a bold move. However, they could afford to do this. They could afford it because Erin's grandmother passed away and she left Erin with a lot of money. Years later, her father passed away and then her mother passed away, and they too left Erin and her sister with a pretty big inheritance. So money for Erin wasn't really an issue. She was doing well financially. Erin and Simon go on to have 2 children together, and throughout those years of raising their kids, Erin ends up getting really close to her in-laws, Dawn and Gail. Dawn and Gail were both teachers up until the time, did I just spit? Did you see that? They were both teachers up until the time that they retired, and they've been described as the most sweetest, loving, caring couple. They were the kind of couple that just worked together as a team. They moved through life together and they worked so well together. Erin also met and got really close to Simon's aunt and uncle, Heather and Ian. Heather and Ian, also beautiful people. They've been described to be extremely generous, loving, and helpful in their community. I believe Dawn, Gail, Heather, Ian, and Erin and Simon all went to the same church together. So they were known by everyone and they were liked by everyone. But anyway, Erin ends up getting really close to Simon's parents and his aunt and uncle because that's just kind of what you do when you get married. You more than likely eventually meet your significant other's family members, and you more than likely build a relationship with them, and Erin did. However, when it came to her and Simon's marriage, it was kind of rocky. It wasn't uncommon for them to be fighting, for them to break up or separate. They would be on good terms and then bad terms, and then they would go to couples counseling, reconcile, get back together, and it felt very unstable. That was until 2015 when Erin and Simon officially get separated, and as far as their assets, they basically end up splitting everything 50-50, but they remained on good-ish terms. They wanted to be on good terms because they wanted to make the separation as easy as it could be for the kids, so they put effort into acting civil around each other. Erin still obviously loved Simon's parents and his family members. She actually continued hanging out with them and showing up to family events, so nothing really changed in that regard. And she would say all the time how much she loved Dawn, Gail, Heather, and Ian. She would talk about how grateful she was for them and everything that they had done, not only for her but also for their kids, and claimed that she cherished the relationship with them a lot. However, that likely was not the case because around 2020, Erin ends up joining a lot of true crime Facebook groups, and she becomes online friends with some of the members in said groups. She didn't really have many friends, many people that she hung out with or spoke to, so most of the people that she did have that she would consider a friend came from those online groups. And to her online friends, she would often speak about Simon and about his family members, but she would speak about them in a very disrespectful way that would actually make you think that she hated them all. And this weird fake tension between her and Simon really became a thing in 2022 when Simon filed a tax return and he filed as single. That was the first time that Simon ever filed as single since his marriage with Erin, and Erin was not happy. She did not like that at all. She was livid because now it meant that she would have to file for child support, and she would text her online friends about this, saying things such as, "I'm sick of this. I want nothing to do with them. This family, I swear to God, why isn't she horrified her son is such a deadbeat that I had no choice but to claim?" So she's pissed. And again, as far as her relationship with Simon, there is clearly some known tension in the air. But as far as her relationship with her in-laws, they are still fine, and she's pretending that she loves them still. And then July of 2023 comes around, and Erin goes to church where she sees Simon's uncle Ian, and she goes up to him and says, "Look, I want to host a lunch at my house. I want to have you, Simon, Dawn, Gail, and Heather attend this lunch at my house." And she kind of hints at the fact that she has something important to tell them, and kind of hints at the fact that it's health related. So they pick a date, July 29th of 2023, for all 5 of them to go to Erin's house and have some lunch. But the day before, Simon calls Erin and says, "Look, I'm not coming. There's a weird tension between us. I don't really feel like sitting in on an awkward lunch. I'm just gonna stay home. You have a nice time with my mom and dad and my aunt and uncle." And Erin's response to that is, Well, screw you, kind of. She says, "This is really disappointing. I really want you to come. I need you to come. I have something very important to tell all of you, and I've spent so much time working and prepping this meal that we're gonna have, and it would really mean a lot to me if you showed up, so hope to see you tomorrow." Simon reads her response, doesn't reply. The next day comes around, and he also does not show up for lunch. So having this lunch at Aaron's house is Aaron, Dawn, Gail, Heather, and Ian, and they show up. Gail and Heather offer to help with the meal, to help set the table, and Aaron is like, "No, you guys sit down. You guys are my guests. I'll take care of everything." So she serves them lunch. She made individual beef Wellingtons, one for each person, and she serves them all in the same colored plates. So they all have either white or gray plates, but her plate is orange. And then finally, they get around to talking about why they're there for lunch in the first place, and Aaron tells them that she has big news. She has been diagnosed with cancer. And Dawn, Gail, Heather, and Ian feel horrible. Of course they do. And they are very, very empathetic, telling her that they will be there for her. They offer their support to take care of the kids or do whatever they could do to help. And they made sure that Erin knew that she could count on them, whatever it was that she needed. Then they all gather their hands together and pray for her. They finish their lunch and the guests leave. By midnight that same day, every single person who attended that lunch, who ate that meal, Dawn, Gail, Heather, and Ian, they all start getting terribly sick. They felt violently ill with symptoms resembling severe poisoning. It was so bad. Every single one of them was trying to sleep but didn't really get much sleep because they couldn't, because of how sick they were. And first thing the next morning, Dawn ends up calling an ambulance to come pick him and Gail up and take them to the hospital. So those are Simon's parents. Upon learning of how sick they were feeling, Simon is thinking, oh my God, it must be something, based on the symptoms they were describing, it must be something that they ate. So knowing that his aunt and uncle ate the same meal, Simon calls Heather and Ian to check on them, but they don't answer. So Simon shows up at their house. Heather and Ian are in terrible condition. Heather is lying on the floor with a bucket next to her. Ian looks completely drained, exhausted, and sick. So Simon puts them in his car and drives them to the hospital immediately. And that's when Heather mentions to him that they all had individually eaten beef Wellington. And she mentions to Simon that she remembers thinking that it was interesting that Aaron served them all on white or gray plates, but she served herself in an orange plate. And then they all collectively start wondering if Aaron is also feeling sick and experiencing the same symptoms, because you know they all ate the same thing, and she was, or so she said she was. Aaron said that she had also started feeling sick and said that she felt really nauseous and had been unable to get up from the toilet because her stomach was so messed up. However, we later find out that that day, the day after that lunch, Aaron drives 2 hours to take her son somewhere, and in between that drive, she stops at a gas station. She's seen on CCTV footage entering the gas station and going to the bathroom for 9 seconds, not minutes, seconds. So she's claiming that she feels so sick, so severely ill that she can't stop going to the bathroom because her stomach is just that messed up. Yet for some reason, she's completely fine to make a 2-hour drive, and when she does stop to go to the bathroom, she only goes to the bathroom for 9 seconds, which is weird. She later says that her stomach hurt so bad that while she was on that 2-hour drive, she had to pull... Did I just spit again? What's wrong with me? When she was driving, she had to pull over on the side of the road because she had to go to the bathroom so bad. And she, I guess, relieved herself on the side of the road and used some tissues in a bag to clean up herself. So she says that when she did go to the bathroom, was in there for 9 seconds, all she was doing was throwing away the tissues or the things that she had used to clean herself. Anyway, back to Dawn, Gail, Heather, and Ian. At this point, each couple was at a different hospital, but the test for all 4 of them, tests revealed abnormal amount of toxic mushroom poisoning. Doctors suspect that they had all eaten death cap mushrooms, which is one of the most poisonous mushrooms on earth. Erin actually ends up taking herself to the hospital, and doctors are like, oh my God, please come in. We need to admit you if you ate the same meal as these other 4 people, because they are all really, really sick. And you're probably about to get really, really sick. But Eric says, actually, no thanks. I don't want any testing done. I don't need your help. And she leaves despite medical advice that she had to stay. So a doctor actually calls the police and says, look, I have 4 people that are terribly sick. 5 people had the same meal on Saturday, and we suspect that there were death cap mushrooms in the meal, which are extremely poisonous. We have 4 of the guests in terrible condition in the hospital, and the 5th guest came, but she left. She left the hospital, and we are all really worried about her. So an officer ends up getting dispatched to Erin's home to collect the leftovers from the meal, and that's when it's confirmed that yes, there were death cap mushrooms inside the beef Wellingtons. Despite doctors' best efforts, Dawn, Gail, and Heather are all pronounced deceased in the hospital. Ian luckily survived, but he remained in intensive care while they worked on stabilizing him until he was okay enough to be released. Police launch an investigation into this immediately because there were a lot lot of things that just were not making sense. The biggest one being that Erin, the one who cooked the meal, seemed to be fine, despite 3 out of her 4 guests losing their life due to the meal that she served them, and the 4th guest clinging to life. So let's run through Erin Patterson's lies, because there are a lot. First of all, when asked, Erin told investigators that she purchased dried mushrooms at a big grocery store. She then changes her story and says that she actually bought them at an Asian grocery store. So investigators go out and try to find them, but they obviously cannot because she's lying. Erin's story is that she bought the mushrooms dried already, and she said that she herself did not own a dehydrator. But then investigators find evidence that Erin Patterson purchased a dehydrator on April 28th of 2023, a brand new dehydrator, and then they find CCTV footage showing her going to a dump to get rid of the dehydrator on August 2nd, 2023. So just days after, while everyone was in the hospital, she went to a dumpster and tried to get rid of it. And she later tries to cover that up by saying, oh no, I didn't do that because I'm guilty of anything. I just did that because I was so scared that I would get blamed for trying to poison everyone. Erin then says that she had never dehydrated anything, especially mushrooms, because her children did not like mushrooms. But after collecting electronic evidence, her search history showed that she had visited a webpage about death cap mushrooms in May of 2022, so over a year before she purchased them. So she had been looking into this for over a year, which is terrifying. And using cell phone data, they were also able to prove that Erin did purchase the mushrooms herself and that she did dry them out herself using her own dehydrator. She also attempted to factory reset her phone like 3 or 4 times while investigators were inside of her house with her. And during the search warrant, she gave them a phone, but she had 2 phones. So she basically hid the one phone that she was making all those searches on and just gave them the other one, pretending that she had never looked up death cap mushrooms before. We also know that she also tried to claim that she was sick and could not stay away from the bathroom, but CCTV footage was found of her in that 2-hour road trip stopping at a gas station to enter the bathroom for 9 seconds, which obviously didn't help her case. She also claimed that she adored her in-laws, that she loved them and Heather and Ian, but then investigators found all those messages between her and her online friends of her basically talking trash about them. And to top it all off, remember, the reason why she gathered them for said lunch to begin with was because she had the news that she had cancer. Well, she didn't. She never had cancer. She was never at risk of having cancer. She just completely made it up. And she said that she made it up because she had self-esteem issues. And she claimed that she wanted to have gastric bypass surgery and she was embarrassed about it, but she knew that she would need help recovering from her surgery. So she just used cancer as her lie, but it was completely calculated and fabricated and just literally not true at all. Erin Patterson was arrested November 2nd of 2023 and charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder for her in-laws, their relatives, and her estranged husband, Simon, although the charge of attempted murder against Simon was later dropped. Her trial began April 29th of 2025, and Erin Patterson spent 8 days on the stand just lying. It felt like literally every single thing that she was saying on there could be proven to be a lie, and quite quickly. The jury deliberated for 6.5 days before finding Erin Patterson guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. She has not been sentenced yet. I believe her sentencing hearing is April 25th or 26th. So we don't know yet what her sentence is going to be, but why?
Am I in the wrong for punishing my daughter for not coming to my wedding? I got married last weekend in my parents' house, which has been in the family for generations. For health reasons, only immediate family was there. My daughter, 16 female, had been calling her new stepmom, 21 female, names like homewrecker and prostitute, and I've been patient with her. She assumes I left her late mother because she had breast cancer. However, I did not leave her mother for having cancer. Nobody decides to have cancer. However, her late mother kept using her illness to devalue me and my sense of identity. She criticized the way I was taking care of her and even stuff like my hygiene or the cologne I was wearing. She made me feel worthless, and I felt like she was projecting her own insecurities by saying the smell of my cologne was disgusting because she never made an effort to keep herself up, and despite the fact that I objectively found her disgusting sometimes, I stuck by her until my self-esteem was destroyed. I would work hard closing deals all day and be acknowledged for my efforts at work, yet I'd go home and she'd criticize and nag about every ounce of my being. I met her stepmom when I was in a dark place. She made me feel like I could be myself again. My wife made me feel unattractive and sexless, and with my new wife, I felt alive. Just the fact that she appreciated me and felt physical chemistry with me made me want to do anything for her, to want to provide for her. That's when I decided not to bullshit my wife anymore and file for divorce. Since then, my daughter's relatives from her mom's side had been poisoning her against me. Last weekend, when I and her stepmom went to the side of the wedding early, we expected to see her drive to the wedding later, but instead, she ended up going to stay with her aunt. Everybody asked where she was, and there was chaos from my side of the family locating her. As punishment, I took her car and allowance away and have taken her phone away until I feel that she can learn to be respectful towards someone I love very much, and that it will be impossible for her to do that if she keeps having to hear from her late mom's side of the family. My parents have called and said that I was being too harsh. However, even when things are tough, I feel I can't let a child of mine believe that they can just do whatever they want. So,